I haven't played Call of Duty in quite some time since the Nick Merck situation that happened over a year ago. He made a comment on a Twitter post saying that people should leave kids alone. And a lot of the LGBTQ, SJW brigaders took that as him being homophobic and transphobic and all that utter nonsense. And shortly after that, his skin was removed from the Call of Duty game, and I silently boycotted it. Well, it just seems like Call of Duty is just doing all this weird pandering, especially during Pride Month. We literally have seen the worst virtue signal of all time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've seen it already before you saw today's video. Call of Duty is giving away a free Pride gift pack that includes transgender-themed bullets and guns. Are they even thinking anymore about the optics of this? Transgender bullets and guns. Now, this is going to be a pretty divisive video. I can already see some people, ooh, Eric, you're being homophobic and you're transphobic is not a mental illness. No, look, the state of the United States of America, and this is going to be a little bit political, has been pretty volatile, especially when it comes to mass shootings in school areas and stuff. And there's one thing that has been common with it all. A lot of them are transgender. I'm not saying that most transgenders are school shooters, but there's a significant portion, a significant percentage of transgender individuals who end up being mass shooters. And literally, like, making transgender bullets in a video game. And you can say, oh, it's just a video game. It's not real life and all this stuff. It's not real life, dog. Look, this just doesn't look right. All right, to me, it just screams, hey, you know, you're kind of helping promote this narrative that is that transgenders go to schools and mass shoot. If real LGBTQIA plus, whatever you want the initials are at this point, want to get away from that stigma, want to get away from that stereotype that mass shooters are trans, then maybe they should be upset that Activision Blizzard and Call of Duty are promoting transgender-themed bullets. Like, if I'm more upset for the transgender community than they are over this, that's saying something, right? Now, yeah, they also kind of had some 420 stuff for April 20th for all the stoners out there. This is a game that, even though it is rated mature, a significant amount of children play it. I don't even go on voice chat if I play Call of Duty anymore because I hear more kids on Call of Duty and GTA than I do on Fortnite at this point. It's like the adults went to the kids' games and the kids went to the adult games. A lot of people, whether they want to deny it or not, children are playing this, and children are easily influenced by stuff that's in games. And when you look at some of the causes for some of these mass shootings and stuff in these manifestos, for like example, the Nashville shooter a couple years ago, bullying is pretty prevalent in middle school, high school, heck, even elementary school. And a lot of it these days is done by transgender individuals. I know, again, this is a touchy subject, but just look up the stats, look up the mainstream news, whatever ones do cover this, because we know mainstream news next to almost never covers anything properly. And if it's transgender or even if it's a black male, they kind of sweep it under the rug. Only when it's a white male do they focus on it. You know, oh, it's a right-wing MAGA, whatever. It's always has to fit their narrative. So this was actually brought to my attention, and I'm sure everybody else's attention through Twitter. You can see these are the skins right here for, I believe that's for the M4 gun, which is a gun that you get in, you know, right on the get-go, one of the basic standard guns on Call of Duty. They have these sparkly, cool Pride skins in addition to these transgender bullets that are just causing quite a bit of a little ruckus right now on social media because of everything that has been going on. So here's one tweet right here that I saw, and it says, they covered the bullets on some guns, trans bullets. They're going to hate this one. And I'm assuming this tweet is kind of hard to tell whether they're laughing when they say they're going to hate this one. Like, you know, the conservatives, the pro-gun rights people are going to hate that it's trans. I don't necessarily hate that it's trans, that they're doing this stuff. I think the whole concept of companies doing pride logos and pride skins and stuff is a bit pandering. This virtue signaling, I covered it with Halo the other day, is quite cringe, to be completely honest. When we see a lot of companies do this virtue signaling, oh, look at us, we have a rainbow logo now and all this crap, but then they have their at mentions blocked. Yeah, Xbox had their at mentions blocked on their Halo post the other day. They don't care about actual representation and stuff like that. They're just trying to get clout points from a small minority of people that are the most sensitive people out there, that are quick to cancel people and say that your company's canceled just because they don't make a pride logo. That's ultimately what it is they're just trying to appease. Look, here's another tweet that we got right here. They ain't gonna like this. Like, what are they laughing? Are these people literally laughing that it's a transgender skin on a gun? Like, these people, these SJWs, these weird wokies, it's like they get off to the fact, like, let's be spiteful, let's laugh, let's put this in just to do it. They don't, at this point, I'm totally convinced anybody that's a quote-unquote political activist doesn't legitimately care that transgenders are being represented. They just care about trying to get a on people that might be offended by this. For people that are very vocal, that get offended about very little things, people that cry about straight white male gamers, they get off to let's get these people mad. They don't care that it's diversity being represented. They claim that they're for DEI and stuff like this, but they really don't care. They don't give a shit. You can tell because of how spiteful these people are. This makes them feel like they're important. Stuff like that, trying to be spiteful, makes them feel like they're an activist when they're really not. Think about how like real political activists were throughout the years. Martin Luther King Jr. Would he have laughed and said like they're going to hate that African Americans are represented? No. That's the fucking issue that I have with wokies. They're all fucking, they get off to being fucking pricks. Like Alyssa Mercante gets off to being a prick, which we're going to talk about her in a minute. But here's some of the reactions I saw from people upset about it. 9MMSMG says, if you're still playing Call of Duty, stop. They introduced trans flag bullets to honor Pride Month. With the number of mass shootings involving trans, non-binary people recently, it seems they have a motive. And yeah, you know, if you want to put the tinfoil hat on a little bit, in a small way, if they are trying to be spiteful wokies like the last person was, maybe this is a little bit, you know, driven by a motive. Maybe they want to be like, hey, they hate transgender people, so let's actually shoot people with bullets that have a transgender flag on it. Maybe, you know, I'm not saying that it ain't far-fetched, but if you wanted to plant narratives in games, if you wanted to kind of promote some kind of weird political narrative, maybe this is the way that you do it. Or maybe somebody approved this. That's the thing. You got to think somebody checked this off at Activision. Somebody thought it was a great idea to put transgender bullets. Somebody sat in a boardroom and fucking checked off a box. Now, Ian Miles Chong, who's a bit of a very divisive influencer, put out this tweet. Activision's Call of Duty just added transgender bullets to the game in honor of Pride Month, so you can literally roleplay as a transgender mass shooter. And yeah, this is in reference to a shooting that took place not too long ago. Is this a dark humor joke? Yeah, but in reality, he's kind of not wrong. He's kind of not wrong. I feel in a small way they're literally pandering to a community of people that have a small percentage of people that are aggressive mentally, that have some kind of mentally sickness, that would possibly consider this as a avenue of role-playing, something that they would want to do. And it's sad to say that. It's sad to see the state that sometimes bullying and mental illness cause tragic incidents to happen, like a shooting. It's very sad. I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm all for the right to carry. I think citizens should have the right to protect themselves. And a lot of times when you see stuff like this happen, it happens in schools where people can't protect themselves. Law-abiding citizens cannot protect themselves from somebody that's sick in the head. But I see Ian's point here. even though it is a dark joke. I see his point. This could cause somebody to, people say that Doom back in the day influenced Columbine and stuff like that. Do you not think that Call of Duty might subliminally influence somebody by using transgender bullets? A small percentage of people. All it takes is just one fucking person to do something tragic, right? And I'm not a fan of anybody losing their lives. Now, Quartering says Call of Duty selling trans pride bullets, just what every mass shooter wants. And again, it's honestly not a good look with these transgender bullets. I think it's a little bit irresponsible considering the stats of the mass shootings recently. Continuing on, we got companies are celebrating Pride Month and Call of Duty adds pride skins. They cover your bullets too. What did Call of Duty think doing this? And you see even right here, the first response is Stuttering Craig from Side Scrollers. And yeah, to me, it just feels like a little irresponsible. It's like encouraging. If it was the other way around, like let's say it was a game where people considered a little bit more right-winged and it was against something that this community, the LGBTQ community, might get offended at. Like, I don't know, let's say they made some MAGA bullets or some, even let's get MAGA out of the way. Let's say they made some bullets that had an American flag on it. They would instantly try to say that that's a nationalist symbolism and stuff like that. So now here's a little bit more of a sarcastic tweet. And this one did make me chuckle, even though it is still very sad because it touches on a real situation. They said they announced a new Audrey Hale operator update. It includes 2 operator skins, trans pride bullets, a new map, and a copy of Hale's manifesto, which that manifesto has been lock and key, man. Media has been trying to hide that. The Nashville shooting. This is one of those shooting things that the mainstream media has just refused to fucking cover and admit everything about. And at this point, it's just the sweeping for that side of things is definitely unreal. And you see Grums, this is the one that I saw. This is the first tweet I saw yesterday morning when I saw this thing go on, or was it 2 days ago? I don't even know. But Grum said, did you think this went through Activision Call of Duty? We just started Pride, and we've already seen the worst virtue signal of the year. If the news media actually covered what was happening with mass shootings, they would know, but they either don't know or don't care. And that's exactly it. The news media covers this shit up. Unless it's a straight white male that's right-winged, they can't plant a narrative. They can't plant that it's some kind of MAGA conservative that is pro-gun and hates LGBTQ. If it's the other way around, it's a victim. It was a victim of bullying. They sweep it under the rug. But in a way, I completely say this is a bad fucking look. Like, it's one thing to celebrate Pride, all whether you agree or disagree with it, but in Pride Month to put out bullets with a transgender flag on it, like. Again, I want to remind you guys, somebody approved this at Activision. Somebody sat down and approved this. They thought it was a good idea. And there's talks of lawsuit danger being here from Grums as well. He goes into detail about another lawsuit that Call of Duty and a few other people are being sued for out of this. And this is where things are getting pretty interesting as far as like theories and speculation and stuff like that. You can see he says the lawsuit danger is real. Sandy Hook families put Remington out of business, later sold under theory that Remington advertising recklessly encouraged the violence by their marketing. This is the first time the legal theory succeeded. So Activision and Call of Duty just put the entire video game industry in jeopardy with their latest virtue signal. Legal needs to take down the Pride ammo and Pride operator skins immediately or it'll be used against them. And that's true. Anybody that wants to lawsuit Activision could say that this is encouraging mass shootings. Based on the stats that transgenders, small percentage, if we want to try to ride the fence here and not offend anybody, but let's be real, in a small way, this could encourage transgenders to be like, ooh, I'm going to kill all these people in the game with my transgender bullets, fuck all of them. And then if they have a mental illness, they'll get sick enough in the head to where they want to act it out in real life, and it's going to be blamed on the fucking game. The people that are going to throw the lawsuit are going to blame this on the fucking game. If another shooting happens with a transgender individual doing it, they will blame this instant with the transgender bullets on the game, and then the video game industry is fucked. I know it sounds stupid, but guess what? That's how it works with stupid lawsuits here. So here's a tweet showing some of the stuff right here. So we have Denver shooter, Aberdeen shooter, Nashville shooter, Philly shooter, Perry shooter, COS shooter. We have non-binary, trans, cross-dresser, trans. It's a common denominator with the stats, guys. And I know people might say, oh, you're pick and choosing. You know, there's several instances where it's not a trans guy. It could be a straight white guy. It could be an African-American guy, this and that. There is a significant amount of mass shootings that are very violent, that lots of people get hurt, lots of people die. And whether it's a shooting with a trans or a straight person, I'm not advocating for mass shootings at all. Let's get that out before somebody tries to twist it in the comment section. Don't advocate for that at all. I don't want people dying. But you're encouraging more of these instances, more of these issues with these types of individuals when you're putting transgender bullets in your game, is my argument and my problem with the whole situation. I don't care that it's Pride Month. I'm caring about the instance of what you're trying to encourage here. Now, this popped up. Yellow Flash popped this up. There's an internal email going on about Power and Pride that's talking about this, that it's a whole thing. It's literally like a company manifesto about celebrating Pride and everything about it. They're doing Pride bingo. They're doing local celebrations. With that, like, basically this is like, hey, a company email telling all the employees to celebrate Pride and trying to get like events together and stuff. So they're making it internally a pretty big situation, which on paper, yeah, it might sound, you know, good on paper, like, oh, diversity and all this and that. But when you're trying to inject it and force it and spread it across everybody, like, it just, the virtue signaling just gets unreal to me. And then, you know, you think on top of it how, I mean, they're even in this email, they're promoting the Call of Duty skins in here. So it's really weird that they're focusing on that with the guns and the bullets having Pride on it. Did it have to have guns and bullets? I don't know. Anyways, Grums, who I mentioned earlier, he got attacked by a parody account, I guess, of Ian Miles Chong, saying, good job, Grums. Your grifting buddies are picking up your dumbass narrative and running with it. Not that you'd ever give a shit, but this puts actual people in danger when you depict a group as inherently violent and needing to be suppressed, you stupid fuck. Look how angry these people get, how angry these wokies get. It's only an issue when their side is being attacked and victims, right? When it's perfectly fair criticism to be like, Activision, why would you be irresponsible to encourage a narrative of transgender people shooting things by using bullets with their fucking transgender flag on it? That was a perfectly fine criticism. And then how are you going to blame Ian Miles Chong on Grums? They're two different individuals. What Ian Miles Chong does, what I say, what whoever else says, it's their own human being. We're all our own individuals to have our own free speech, our own platforms, and you're blaming it on Grums. I don't understand how that fucking works. Maybe they see that he's the one, I guess, at the forefront. I don't know. It's kind of weird to place blame, but that's how these people work. They got their echo chamber, which is ironic. They all listen to the same type of nonsense. They have no free individual thought, and then they blame the people that actually do have their own individual thought as following somebody like Grums. Now, Grums did clap back to that, saying maybe Activision should not have promoted a narrative by including trans bullets in a shooter game. He's not fucking wrong. He's not fucking wrong at all at that. Right? And then you can see this is also in response to a quote tweet that Libs of TikTok said, saying, Call of Duty is now enabling kids to roleplay being a literal trans terrorist. With the uptick in actual trans violence that we've been seeing, it's alarming that Call of Duty would introduce this. And I agree. It's very alarming, especially with the uptick of situations and trans violence out there. It's a bit irresponsible, in my opinion. And that's not me saying, oh, I hate trans people and all this shit, because somebody's going to paint it. I always see somebody every day try, oh, just admit that you hate trans. No, shut the fuck up. That's not what it is. I hate people dying. I hate people dying. Now, continuing on with this, he goes on and talks about this lawsuit that I was talking about. Grum says Activision and Call of Duty are being sued for millions over Uvalde, which actually, that's not even an hour away from me. That whole incident really knocked my state. I'm in Texas, and that was a huge, tragic event that I think the city failed those innocent lives that died. They do this right after they get sued. So Uvalde happened, they got sued, and then they put transgender bullets in here. So they would rather lose a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with Uvalde than stop virtue signaling. So the lawyers literally can have a field day over this on Activision. Oh, you put transgender bullets in here. And it's like, let's contribute to Pride Month instead of actually trying to defend gun rights and protect video games, right? Just so we could appeal to a small percentage of people that honestly don't give a fuck. I'm really convinced all the people that are pro-pride and virtue signaling do not legitimately give a fuck about lesbian, gay, trans, bi, whatever. They don't really give a fuck about that. All these political activists out here really don't give a fuck about LGBTQ or Pride Month. They just want a virtue signal and get their clout off of it or whatever bullshit they want. Now, Grum says, for those asking, Activision and Call of Duty and Daniel Defense are being sued by Uvalde family lawyers in a ridiculous case that claims the branded weapons and video game recklessly encourage the violence. If they win such a ludicrous claim, it will put Daniel Defense out of business and hurt video games and the Second Amendment. It was irresponsible for Call of Duty to celebrate Pride Month with operator skins, since several mass shootings are trans manifesto motivated. And again, Nashville shooter, that manifesto, how long have they been trying to avoid covering the truth on that? The lawyers will use this against Activision. Activision just made things so much worse for the legal case, and it will hurt all games and Second Amendment companies. And he's not right. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I'm sorry. This is gonna come back and bite them in the butt, like 110-fold. Again, not a good look. And of course, everybody's favorite video game journalist having a complete freak out about Grum's, Alyssa Mercante. You can see she said, "You're fucking disgusting," after that tweet that we just said, where he mentioned how it's irresponsible. And Grum says, I don't know, Alyssa. Seems like you're ignoring all the recent ones, but hey, that's what Kotaku does, right? And he's not wrong. Kotaku's retarded. I'm sorry. And Alyssa Mercante, you're an insufferable retard too. And then he just pointed out Colorado Springs shooter, Denver shooter, Aberdeen, Nashville. I think several is accurate, and it's a bad look for Call of Duty while they're being sued to do trans bullets. 100%. That's the issue that I have. The optics of this. You might be outraged, but the legal team suing Activision isn't going to care and will use those facts against them. Activision should pull the skins immediately. And again, it's all going to be used against Activision, and that's the issue. But again, Alyssa Mercante don't give a shit about that. She just wants to push this narrative that we're hateful fearmongers and that we draw connections that don't exist to continue the attack of marginalized people. Oh, God. Buzzwords, you can see majority of mass shooters are CIS white men. Peddling anything else is dangerous. So nobody else could do it, right? We'll just ignore facts that, transgender people have not done any kind of like acts of violence, and that it's irresponsible of Activision to encourage it by posting these here. That's the definite argument here. And again, it's all irresponsible, and I don't like the way things are going. It seems like gaming is just more focused again on political commentary nonsense, virtue signaling, appealing to a population and percentage of people that don't even give a fuck about video games. They're more focused on agendas and narratives, being consulting firms like Sweet Baby Inc., and it's just becoming overall toxic. And I know there's going to be a amount of people that try to say no. People like me, people like Hypnotic, Smash, Stuttering Craig, Melanie Mack, Geeks and Gamers, that we're the ones that are toxic. They're going to say that we're the ones that spread hate, that we're the ones that are the problem. No, you can see the tide's turning. A lot of people are agreeing with that this is a bad look by Activision. And honestly, again, I like to remind you, somebody checked off a box on this. Somebody thought this was a good idea in light of everything that's going on with today's climate. Worst virtue signal indeed. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.